was gone for like an hour and a half, I started to wonder, okay, no phone calls, no texts, which, you can't when you're in the air. I feel like I've got morning sickness all over again. Josh landed. He's safe, I think. Joshua got me some new clothes and I got him a laptop case. Josh and I really enjoyed spending Christmas with my family, and we look forward to coming back to Florida soon.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, September 9th. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have a couple videos coming up for you. I will be talking about Josh Duggar and his appeals, and he got a visitor, you guys. He got a visitor, friends. And we'll be doing a video on part 3 of the conversation between Cody and Christine, because this time Cody has a mantrum. He kind of has a mantrum. Before we get into it and we dive into Josh's current situation, do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up. Also, make sure you give me subscribe to the channel if you've not yet subscribed, and turn those notifications on so you know when new content loads and when new videos are up. And double check to make sure you are subscribed. If you are not, if you've been subscribed, take the plunge today. It's Friday. We got through our first week of school. All those parents out there that got through week 1 of school, high five. All right, it's time to talk about Josh Duggar. Josh has 7 Douglets, and he and Anna were having a life before he ended up in his facility in Texas. And Josh is supposed to be providing to the court his appeal brief, and that again has been delayed. Josh is seeking a third delay now for his appeals. And I just wanted to kind of apprise you or give you the rundown of this situation, and then walk you through some of the details of what to expect, and let you know about a comment that was left by one of my subscribers who happens to be an attorney that has written appeals briefs, to give you an understanding of how common or uncommon the appeals delays are, and whether or not this is standard or if he is dragging his feet. So Mr. Gelfand of the Gelfand, I don't even know what his firm is called, wrote a unopposed motion for extension of time to file an opening brief. And it says that he, through his undersigned counsel, it requests an extension of time within which he may file his opening brief in the case. He says that the United States does not oppose this request. He is appealing his 1-count conviction following the criminal jury trial, and his opening brief is currently set to be due on September 12th of 2022. So would have been due on Monday. Given the length of the transcript arising out of this criminal jury trial and the complexity of the possible issues on appeal, Duggar respectfully requests an additional 21 days within which to file an opening brief. Additionally, after significant coordination with the Bureau of Prisons, undersigned counsel was finally able to have an attorney-client privileged meeting with Duggar at the Texas facility in which he is detained earlier this week. A substantive meeting with Duggar was a necessary prerequisite to finalize Duggar's opening brief so as to protect Duggar's rights. So he is saying that the transcripts are extensive, and because of the extensiveness of the transcripts, and when the trial happened, it was more than a week of testimony. And there are, I believe, 8 or 9 volumes of transcripts, and each transcript comprises 1 day, and that day could have over 300 pages. It's a lot that they have to go through in order to appeal. I'll go into why that matters in a second. It says, this is Duggar's 3rd request for an extension of time, and this request is not intended to hinder or delay the proceedings. Underside counsel conferred with counsel for the United States, who confirmed that the United States does not oppose this motion. Provided it's granted, he does not anticipate any further requests for additional times to file. So they said that they believe that this will be his last request for a delay. So they were seeking a 21-day extension, and so the deadline is October 3rd, and that was then granted by the court. So Josh says that this is the third and final delay he will receive. He'll ask for the court. And the United States government's like, whatever, Josh, we don't care. So there was an attorney that was in my comments. Actually, it's a member, and they said that they have been on the appellate side where they had to appeal in the appeals court, and they likened an appeal to a very arduous process, because when they are looking at appealing a conviction, what they're doing is they're looking for any detail within the trial that could be appealed. So they have to, the way the attorney described it in the comment, is sort of go line by line by line in the transcript to find any discrepancies that are actionable for an appeal. That can take hours of time. And because of that, it's not uncommon, they said, for there to be delays on this end of it. So the way that the attorney described it was that requesting the delays while they're preparing the brief and going to submit to the appeals court, because you only get one shot, it's not uncommon to request extensions. And they said it's kind of more indicative of someone stalling if they're trying to get delays further along the line. Right now, the process of going through the appeals and going through the transcripts to find those actionable items that he can appeal takes a lot of time. So the attorney said that Josh requesting multiple delays is not uncommon. So I was actually completely unfamiliar with the appeals court. I didn't know how they did. I was not aware of how the process worked beyond what was posted on the U.S. Court's website. So thank you to my follower that provided that detail in the comments on my last video about Josh. The other news we have here is that Josh had his first visitor. Now, I don't know if this is his first visitor, but I always feel like Justin has a little bit of flair for the dramatics in how he writes his motions. And if you've read the court transcripts, it's pretty clear that Justin is a defense attorney that has the ability sort of to make nothing out of something, or something out of nothing. And he would try to sort of hammer down onto a tiny, minuscule issue that he believed could be the smoking gun of the reasonable doubt, if you will. So when he said that he was able to finally get a meeting through significant coordination with the Bureau of Prisons, my guess is that he had to go through the standard process where he had to go through the approval. And I'm sure that is I'm guessing that doesn't take a ton of time for attorneys. Attorneys are generally like added to the approved visitors list, but coordinating a meeting in a time frame when Josh can see him would probably be the part that is difficult. There are visits that can happen with visitors, but that's not the same as when an attorney can visit with a prisoner. So they're not like on normal visiting times. So he would have had to schedule a visit, would then have to be coordinated through the BOP. I don't know if you're familiar with working at all with the government on anything, but nothing is ever fast. It is the equivalent of a snail moving on a ground that is sand. The worst surface, the slowest possible surface, and then you're a snail. That is the court system, and that is the government. It's very slow. Bureaucracy is not a fast moving process. So Josh had his visitor in the facility, and so Josh had someone visit. I don't know if Josh has had other visitors at all. I don't know if Anna had a chance to visit him. Recently, Priscilla and David, her sister and her brother-in-law, that live in that area, they were in Georgia. And so Anna hasn't been down to Texas, as far as I know, since she was in Texas over 4th of July during the vacation Bible school that David's church does every single year. So Anna could go visit him. She might not be announcing it to the wider public. She has not been on social media beyond that point where it was her birthday and she made an announcement about how she had made another trip around the world and she was going on a road trip, and she was sort of talking and she spoke about, feeling a little bit sad. And then there was a couple weeks ago that she was on Twitter and she liked to post about antidepressants, and then she got some backlash for that. And I noticed when I looked at her Twitter account that she no longer had liked that tweet. So she unliked the tweet that she had liked by Tucker Carlson. The last now liked tweet is from July 7th, and it's from Elon Musk. So she has not really been super active on her social media. We don't really know what's going on with Anna at this point, but she has not been making anything publicly known at this point in time. Anna has been losing followers on her Instagram account, I noticed. And when I was looking at it, she was at over a million followers right before the trial. And then after his conviction, Anna has now fallen below, she's at 993,000 followers on her Instagram. It's not a huge significant chunk, but it just sort of shows to me that people are losing interest in Anna and tuning out and not feeling as sympathetic to her. The comments that I see of my followers and the subscribers, are that you are very mixed on your feelings. Some of you feel very sympathetic to her situation, having been in a similar situation or grown up in the fundamentalist world. Others of you who are not maybe from the fundamentalist world do not have sympathy for her and feels like she is doing a disservice to her children by not leaving her husband. And I continue to have mixed feelings, a mixed bag of emotions when it comes to Anna. All I know is if it were me, it would be not a no-brainer. I would divorce, but it's not a situation I would wish on anybody to have to ever go through. I don't think it's anything this earth-shattering. People will say that Anna had to have known because of what he did as a child and because he cheated on her and because of what happened with that dancer. She had to have known that he was still interested in kids. But she believes in redemption, and she comes from that world of radical forgiveness. And the truth is that there's a lot of child offenders that never go on to offend as adults. Some offenders, it's because of their own trauma and what they've experienced in their own lives, and they get the proper help that they need and they never reoffend in their lives. It was a mistake as a child, and she might have truly believed that. We really don't know. And he was good at wearing a mask. We don't know what it was like behind closed doors, though. She doesn't, at this point, have any desire to leave him. And daily, I do check on the court records in the state of Arkansas just to see if things are filed. And at this point, nothing has been filed against Josh for a divorce by Anna. What are your thoughts about this next delay? This means that we will find out what his actionable appeals are on October 3rd and what he wants to appeal. What are your thoughts on Anna's disappearing from social media? Do you think she'll come back? Is there anything that she could do at this point that would make you feel more sympathetic to her? Or are you done? And if you still have sympathy for her, what do you think the long term will look for Anna? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.